We're going to speak about a lot of interesting, some stuff that you're going to like.
Ilya, Rabbi's talking to you.
But I wanted to share one thing that you say, you know, we're praying in English and give you a lot of, give you more emotion, Kavanah. Listen to what the Maggid of Mezrich is. You know who the Maggid of Mezrich is? He's one of the main students of the Baal Shem Tov, the founder of the Hasidic movement. So he's recognized all over the Hasidic world to be someone very great. And he says like that: the most important elements in observance, right? Meaning the thing that you need to make sure that's the main thing in being from and religious. What is it? The enjoyment one has while doing it.
Wow.
That's how from I. And so in a way, it's like you want to know who is really from. Find the guy who is the most excited at doing his mitzvah, what he's doing. That's the person who is not strong. Stop it. But it's almost the opposite. You think the one who is the most serious or the most strict, right? That's the way we think. Who is the most religious? The one who has the most humorous, the most religious, the most intense. No. Who has the most enjoyment? And it's not finished. Look where he goes with that. We actually see, but all this is also part of Sukkah because Zman Simchatenu, right? After all the Yomim Hanoraim, the awesome days, now we have the conclusion of it, which is Sukkot and Simchat Torah, the climax Simchat Torah. So we are aiming to go to the climax, which is true joy. It says like that. We actually see that enjoyment is the main element that joins two things. Sounds familiar?
Enjoyment is the main element that joins two things.
Yes. As for example, you want to know? You want an example? Fine, give you an example.
Relationships.
As for example, a man and a woman.
Ah, as I said.
You're more Hasidic than you thought.
It's the cosmic glue of everything.
That's right. Oh, our holy. Just on time. You just started 5 minutes ago, so you just on time. Please come here. She's the bodyguard. She's protecting us from anybody with interest. Oh, yeah, please. Eva, Rabbi Akiva. Hey, holy brother. Good to have you. Yay.
I'm gonna love you.
I was saying, you know, there's a Zoom link also.
I know.
Ah, okay, like that. No problem.
Personal.
No problemo. So we were speaking about who is someone that is. Please take. This is the plate. Salad there. Salad. The salad. I don't know. Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, for Shan. Now you're here, much better. So we were saying like, how do you know someone is really religious, really like, you know? So the Maggid of Mezrich says the most important element in observance is the enjoyment one has while doing it. How excited and how happy and how smiling and how wow he's excited in doing. This is what a true, really religious person should look like. Not like Shabbos, whatever, or whatever people, you know, like whatever. I don't know what people think, but we actually see. So why is it so? We actually see that enjoyment is the main element that join two things. As for example, a man and a woman who are primarily brought together because of their mutual enjoyment. You want to know the true reason why I'm with my wife? Because I enjoy being with her. I have happiness with her. Otherwise, why would I be with her? You know, it's because we enjoy being together. Have you seen people not having enjoyment and still sticking together?
Yeah.
Well, that's not well, nowadays. Yes, Rabbi, we have seen that. Yeah, exactly. For my parents,
Or for the visa, if you're like.
for the visa, whatever.
You would know.
So,
I think so.
so unfortunately, sometimes people stay together even though they don't have enjoyment, but that's a problem. Or you have to work at it. But the idea is the primary reason why two things come together is enjoyment. And guess what? The more pleasure the two people are going to have together, the more they're going to become one, right? Therefore, a person who observes a commandment, whether in thought, speech, or deed, the most important element is his delight, which connects them. It is with this that one binds all the worlds to God. And how do we know how true that is? Because we know from Chazal, if someone is religious and depressed or sad, God is not there.
I feel like they don't really have emunah in Hashem.
Well, yeah, it's connected. It's connected. If you have bitachon, true binun term, you'll be happy almost all the time. We know Yaakov Avinu, for 22 years, the Shekhinah left him because he was depressed of his not being with his son. And tons of stories like that of people. So, well, no, it's not literal like that. Because God can be with you when you're broken hearted. It's also when someone is sick.
Question, is this Derek? Someone's asking.
Yeah, Jared. Hi guys. Welcome. Now let's try.
I'll try live. I made a bracha.
Oh, Julia's here. Who else is here?
Zoom.
Hey, Ore Baba.
Okay. Very good popcorn. If you come live, you can have delicious popcorn made in Joe and Coke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. I have one that's not there. One that's not there.
Is Derek Joe?
Popcorn. Guys, we're live. So for the sake of the people who are there, Akiva is paying attention here. Come on. What? Oh, from Minnesota. We have Minnesota straight live from Minnesota. Where they have the elves. Where they have the elves there? Or all right. So it's God is here mostly when it's more present and more revealed when you instead of joy. What it means when you instead of sadness is that you are the one removing God from you. Because obviously, if you knew God was with you next to you, you'll be happy, right? So unless yes, we're all getting there. We're on the path, right? It's a roller coaster, but if I have the I don't know what to say right now. Let's say I had Michael Jackson next to me all the time. Okay, some people hate him, but let's say yeah, this is your favorite star. I'll be happy. Like you see how people go crazy because they got the handkerchief or the shoe or the sock instead of the stars. Like these socks. I'm so happy. And when they have the person itself next to them, they're extremely happy. So we have to think of Hashem. But sometimes we don't feel that even when Hashem is there because we think of Hashem as someone different. Meaning as a being that is not happy or loving or it's not happy with you. But do you think of Hashem as someone like as in someone? But for the sake of imagination, for the sake of the example, you imagine someone Hashem as someone strict, angry, very serious, happy, chill.
Oh, you
What?
think about yourself too.
Sporty? Yeah, Hashem is very sporty.
Yes.
Yeah, very lovely. Yeah, for Ashkenaz are so what do you think? What do you think of Hashem? How do you think Hashem?
Now I think of him as like a father figure that loves me and wants the best because of you.
Okay, yeah, Akiva, what do you think about how does Hashem? What do you think of Hashem? Sorry?
Big ear.
Oh, a big ear. Oh yeah. That's true. It's yeah. He has a big ear. With earrings or not? In 22 maybe. No. What's this? But I think Jewish men even before, like in the old time in Egypt, they had earrings.
Really?
Yeah, men used to have things. Anyway,
Yeah,
nose rings or stuff like that. Or if you didn't, not that you were a slave, you had the. What do you think of Hashem?
I honestly had to start over Yom Kippur. I think he's a betting man.
A what?
A betting man.
Betting?
Yeah.
It's like he's gambling on you.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I put $20,000 on Mitzi. You better not mess up. Okay,
Stakes are very high.
that's Atlantic City type of God. Okay, but I hear you. He's
Right.
here
The
for
whole-
the challenge. He's
The
here.
whole story with Yoav.
Yo.
The Satan came to said, right?
Mhm.
So it's like,
Yeah.
what else would coerce a being to create a world where he has complete control, but yet gives up so much of it, unless it was a test of his own loving kindness to draw his own creatures to him.
Absolutely. No, that's I agree. It's very good take. What about you?
Like a grandpa sitting in the corner.
I can hear. What?
Like a grandpa sitting in the corner in a dark room.
Well,
It's true. A lot of people think of Hashem like a Santa.
Santa,
Yeah.
right? Like a Santa, right?
Santa or a big rabbi.
It's like you don't see it, but like he sees you. It's like invisible, just sitting in the corner in the dark.
I hear you. I think we need to change that.
Not to say you're wrong.
I picture Hashem much more as a French skinny man, you know, with a short beard and no.
That
No.
is telemelody.
Salam Elohim, exactly. Image of God. No, but
What if we look at Hashem as like a hockey coach or basketball coach? You know, like when you mess up, he scolds you.
you can dodge
And when you do good, he gives you a little pat on the
I will say more like Rocky Balboa. You know,
Yeah.
when he gives his lesson speech to his son. Well, listen, you know, life is gonna pull you down, but it's not about how many times you get kicked down, it's how many times you get back up or whatever, stuff like that. Yeah, like you know, coach. God can be the best coach. What do you think of God?
I don't know about it. I mean, because of your classes, people I went in like so not scared. I was like, this is so different, like a whole new experience.
Is it?
It's so calm. Everyone's like scared, whatever. I'm like, why are you scared?
That's good. It's very.
I'm so calm. Just like,
And even when you
sat here talking to my father.
absolutely and
It's
it,
so life-changing.
it is. I've seen people who they call me, you know, because I do therapy, trauma and stuff like that with people, and they call me for young people as Rabbi. Thing when a saint, I don't know, it's like what we had Tisha B'Av, we had you know, Yud Zayin Tammuz, Asar B'Teres. What this one all of a sudden you're like, I don't know, stress. I don't know if I can do it. I'm gonna faint, and it's like chill. But yeah, it's people have a interpretation of how to experience the holy days because of certain misconception. So when you read it in English, when you read part, you realize how in the text, okay, yes, it's you know, he sends Ema like pachad and like moments of awe and awesomeness, but a lot of it is he loves you. He's your creator. He created you. He's your molder. You're his. All he wants is your heart, and so there's nothing really terrifying. Just it's more the idea of understanding that we have so much potential and we can affect the world so much. I'm more scared of myself than God, right? That's okay. Ilya, how do you picture God as?
We don't know how
I don't
hard it
picture
is to get
God
to
what?
What do you imagine God as being someone like chill, nice, serious, angry,
He knows exactly when to be Juanita. He knows exactly when to be tough on you. He knows when to be like a good coach knows when to compliment you. He knows when to push you.
So you look mostly as a coach.
Yeah. Well, he's a coach. He's a father. He's a king. He's he's everything. He even calls us we're like his mother.
What's the main feeling before you? A feeling of
He wants the best for
intensity?
me. He wants a father.
Like some. So what emotions will you describe?
caring. He cares.
Caring.
Cares. Sometimes it's tough caring. It's soft
Right.
care.
Okay. That's fair enough. What about you?
I don't see it as a person, I see more as a light. And
Yeah,
like more like comforting,
Like a nice
just
cloud,
like listening.
yellow
like,
cloud.
Yeah. Like the beach, but not like burning, you know?
Not hell. Okay, good. That's good. What about you? What's the main emotion you have when you think of Hashem?
Kind of a mix between like a father that's like warm.
So a father made out of light and cloudy here.
I don't think of him as angry. Yeah, more like love.
Nice, good. That's great. That's great. Fantastic.
Sorry, anyone's BMW park, don't park?
I wish
I'll
I
take it,
did.
though. My car. I'll let you have it.
Sorry.
That's it.
Um,
Maybe just pay for it.
Joe.
I used to view God as like more like earring type of view. You know, like like everything you do is like being punished for, and like I'll like do a certain sin, and then all of a sudden like that day or that night, I'll like get punished, and I'll like associate that punishment with whatever I did, and that's what the people around me preached. You know, like when you're in like certain types of litzvah yeshivas, and different types of
I
synagogues.
censored that part.
Yeah. But then I started like moving away from that and like having more like open-minded, like non-judgmental approach to Judaism and to Hashem. Like he is optimistic. He gets it. It's up to you to like really decide whether you're like lying to yourself, whether you're like being too lenient on yourself,
Right.
or not.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So that's the fine line to see. Okay, he's a loving father, but how much can I let the love go? It's really a reflection of how we are going to judge ourselves. The way you judge yourself, the more critical and you're with yourself, usually that's how you think God is going to be critical of you, right? So the more harsh, and we have a tendency to be much harsher than God. Why are you going to be harsher than God? What do you think? What do you feel? What emotion do you have?
Oh, feel comfort.
Comfort.
Yeah,
This is of comfort
just
and
comfort. Like good or bad times, like even like good times, I'm just like, oh, like Hashem's there for me. Like that's so comforting. And even bad times, I'm like, heck, this is like so hard, this is annoying, but like I know he's still here, and I know there's goodness, but like how? But I don't know yet. But I just still feel comfortable.
that's beautiful. Okay, that's great. So this is very important because we're gonna see today a little bit that it's that the festival of Sukkot, right? That we're coming in what is the festival of Sukkot? It's a festival of imagination. It's a celebration of imagination, right? You all knew that already, right?
No, that sounds like Purim.
What?
That sounds like Purim.
No, Purim. It's the festival of acting.
What?
Acting.
Acting?
Be actors. It's like where Shakespeare got inspired from. But the idea is, hey, Khatan. Okay, so what do we have? We have Rosh Hashanah, understanding that Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot, and Simchat Torah and Shmini Atzeret is all connected. Understand, in Judaism, everything is like a puzzle. Unfortunately, we say, oh, this holiday, Pesach, and tak. No. The whole year, the reason the months are the way they are, the reason the 4 seasons are the way they are, the reason the days the way they are, with morning, afternoon, night, all that, it's all connected. Everything is synchronized in a pattern. We are at the chest, how we call the hunting, when you're looking for the treasure, like Alice in Wonderland.
Treasure hunt.
Treasure hunt. Judaism is the type of the greatest treasure hunt where you try to figure out, okay, what's the next step? What I'm supposed to do now and figure out. So what do we have? Rosh Hashanah was the holiday of
Judgment.
bang. America's Got Talent. No, I mean,
Life is a lie.
Rosh Hashanah was the holiday of potential, right? It's the holiday of potential where you go back to the time of Adam Arishon, so to speak, and when he was created, and say, I can be anything. You can choose who to be. You can, right? And we have 10 days to transform, to go back to who we want to be, to who we are at our best. Thus, as a Tshuva, you return to who? Not to God, to you. Because you return to God by returning to yourself. You want to understand, when you understand God is here, God is everywhere. So where am I returning to? This direction, this direction?
The ultimate good.
This direction. Huh?
Hard, huh? I've never done that.
Oh, really?
I'm fine to go like this too.
So God is more here than anywhere else, right? When you feel love, where do you feel it?
No luck yet, I'm sure. No luck yet.
Mostly here, right?
Yeah, no problem.
No? Too good?
Yeah. You feel it in like your stomach.
Stomach here,
Your
right?
heart, yeah, here.
And when you feel excitement, where do you feel it?
Same place.
Same place, right? And when you feel, well, that's when you feel anything, or nervous, or that, or sad. Also, meaning that this is the main place where you're gonna feel. So we're saying you gotta feel God. Well, obviously, it shows that our emotions are directly connected to the presence of God and to our connection with God. So God, in a way, is much more here. This is the place where you can make God become the most revealed and real to you by the way you feel about Him, right? How do I know how close am I to my wife? You go, hey, how you doing? Do you love her? Do you still love her? Right? So this is called speaking with your own self. I know it sounds crazy.
No, I had a friend who had an extra rib and he used to call him Bobby.
It's right. It's,
When it sticks out like that.
oh, by the way, oh, okay, that's different. That's deformation.
That's God giving him a lot of love.
By the way, I just wanted everybody to know, men are not missing a rib that the woman has. Just if you count, because I counted with someone because they thought really that men were missing a rib because the woman took it from him. And no, men are not missing a rib, and women don't have extra ribs than you.
Now he's your local doctor.
I just, yeah, that's one of those misconceptions. Okay, so the idea is Rosh Hashanah was. Okay, it was just a joke. It was not Rosh Hashanah. It was something. What Rosh Hashanah was the festival of potential, and we try to define who we can be. And during 10 days, we practice this Asar Yemei Tshuva to return to who we can be. What can I become? This is me at the highest potential. We try to be more strict, meaning more intense into who we want to become. And then finally was Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur was the day of atonement of cleansing, but with tremendous joy, meaning where you see the climax of, it's really the day of the climax, of your highest achievement. What happened is that Rosh Hashanah is really the down-to-earth experience, right? What do we do on Rosh Hashanah? We celebrate, we make the coronation of the king here on earth. We say, God, you're king here on earth, and I'm eating and I'm celebrating with you. Obviously, we're davening too, but we're involved with the physical. We have simanim on the table. Say, look, this is God. God is here. This is from God. This reminds us of this in God. We see God is here, and we're living a very physical experience of God. Yom Kippur, the opposite. We're completely disconnected. We don't put our shoes that we go out of our body. This, the shoe represents the body to the soul. My body is to my soul what my shoe is to my body. Got that?
It grounds you.
Right, because my soul is much bigger, just like I'm much bigger than my feet in my shoes, right? Most of it comes out. So too, my soul is much bigger than my body. So my body is like a shoe for my soul. Just the bottom of my soul is in my body. So on Yom Kippur, we take the shoes up. We say, I'm like an angel. Eating, I'm not hungry. I don't eat food. I'm like higher than an angel. I eat man. Yeah, man. Yo, man. Eat man. Yo, man. I think that's why they got it. Yo, man. No, so we can eat spiritual food. The Arizal say on Yom Kippur, if you connected, you nourish yourself. You're not hungry because you're eating spiritual energy by praying and all that. We spend the whole day standing, dressing white, not eating like angels, right? Praying all day. So we are telling God, hey God, I can be very physical and I can be very spiritual. Then comes Sukkot. What's Sukkot?
In between.
In between. Very nice. Okay, so what? Actually, I got that. So why is important? Because the way of the Jews is the middle way. The way of the Christian is the extreme right. The way of the Muslim, extreme left. The reason God brought Christianity and Islam, one of the main reasons, is to show you what happens when you go too much to the right and too much to the left. If you go too much to the right, you're completely involved with physicality. You're too loving, it's too much physical, it's too much Rosh Hashanah, meaning you're going to the extremists. Oh yeah, you love me, slap me, I still love you, and slap me. No, that's not love. That's abuse.
There's a suit on that. There's a verse that says, if someone slaps you, turn your
cheek, right? Cheek says, right? Did you know actually that my Rebbe, he tried that with a priest. He was in Israel. Say, is that true that so he wanted to know if he wanted to know if he was authentic, if the guy was really, holding by his word. So he slapped him. I don't think you should do that. I think he said he shouldn't have done it. But just that the idea is that it's the extreme. When you have, it's like when you spoil your kids too much, you give too much physical, too much things. They don't feel good about themselves. It's really spoiling them. And Christianity went to the extreme, and in the name of God, in the name of love, we kill people. That's how extreme it can become. It can extreme right. Every extreme brings to death, right?
In the desert, when we're going into Israel, we were there too.
What do you mean?
We were just killing nations.
Not in the desert.
Holy wars, so to speak.
No, only to defend ourselves. But we never attacked anyone. The only one we attacked is when we went into Israel itself to take the land. Otherwise, never. We're a very peaceful nation. No, but we fight when we need to defend ourselves. So, and remember, Rosh Hashanah is Abraham, Yom Kippur is Yitzchak, Sukkot is Yaakov. So Yaakov is the middle. Chesed is Abraham. So too much Chesed with Christianity. Too much Yitzchak, Gvura, strength, right? It brings Ishmael. Oh, Ishmael, Gvura doesn't sound similar to Yitzchak in a way. The extreme of judgment. There's nobody more. What happened in Saudi Arabia? If you saw something,
put your hand up.
cut your hand. Direct din, pure din. What happened if you have someone woman who doesn't have her thing? They kill her or whatever. They raped her, right? Kill all the infidels. So that's the extreme of judgment, the extreme of Yitzchak. And then we have, now that's the extreme of Islam. Islam itself, there's a peaceful Christianity, more balanced, and peaceful Islam. I'm not attacking anyone specifically, but just it goes to an extreme if it's not well balanced. And Judaism is supposed to show that balance. how to be right
We
in the
also
middle.
have extremes.
What?
We also have extremes.
We have also extremists, yes, absolutely, and we have to be careful because then we lose the authenticity of what Judaism is. So Sukkot is the balance between the two worlds. So what it's saying, what do? I'm going outside of the world, but still inside. I'm in a house, but not in a house. It's called a sukkah. I'm not really down on earth, in a house. I'm not really in heaven. I'm gonna live as if I'm camping at Joinco. This is Sukkot, is a Joinco festival, where you practice being connected to nature, but in the same time very connected to spirituality. So, and this is the reason why I call it the festival of imagination. So you understand we're in a limbo, right? We're in the middle between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the two extremes, and we're trying to prepare ourselves. This is going to set up how you're going to live during the year. Rosh Hashanah, you say, I have so much potential. I'm very powerful, and God is king in my world. And then on Yom Kippur, I show, yes, I'm clean myself. I can be super holy, and I can live with God. Now God says, show me how. How can you be a human being, physical, it or that, and be a holy neshama at the same time that you experience on Yom Kippur, and live in this world with those two contradictions, a body and a soul? How do you live like that? So I want you to go in the sukkah where you're gonna try to live as a Jewish supposed to live, which means chatzi, half spiritual, half physical. So there's a lot of strange laws on Sukkot. That's why it's called the festival of imagination. First of all, what is the sukkah represents?
A hug from Hashem.
A hug from Hashem.
The clouds.
So-
The clouds that
So
were
is it a hug?
protecting us.
Okay. So the market. So is this or that? So who is right?
Always been like a force.
That's true. But wait. And then from Hashem or the clouds, I don't see the clouds. Like, what are you saying, the clouds? I don't see. I mean, if you have a smoke,
Symbolizes
if you have a,
protection.
why don't you put the smoke thing in the sukkah? So
Call Ariel.
yeah. Right. So the idea is we have that, and then not only that, the laws of sukkah. We say, you know what the schach represents? The schach represents all the averos you did that now that were dead, and now they turn because you did tshuva me'ahava. They are your mitzvot, and they all become a schut for you, and we use it. The main thing of the mitzvah of sukkah is the schach. That's what makes the sukkah be the sukkah. Without the schach, the sukkah doesn't work. So, and then not only that, we say the strange laws. If you learn the Gemara Sukkah, the laws, you say if you have less than 3 tfachim between 2 panels, it's considered as if there's no empty space. It's like it's closed. And then you have also a lavud that, let's say you have your sukkah that goes, it's missing one wall, but if you have the roof, the end of the roof going right there by the exact place where the end of your sukkah is, that's called nakuma. It's as if there's an imaginary wall that comes down, and that's counted as a wall. So I understand. We're making up things. We're saying, and I want to ask you a strange question. What is that thing you do with those branches? Yeah. What?
Shake it.
So all of a sudden you decide to become Native Americans. Hey, yeah.
Where do you think they got it from?
What?
Where do you think they got it from?
Exactly. That's what I've been trying to tell people. Well, the truth is, it's possible the Native Indians got it from us, or I suspect they got it from us. But, so what are you doing with those? Why are you shaking branches? You sound like very spooky all of a sudden. I see you with the yellow citron type of thing. So which cuisine do you eat that is wrong? I'm saying what?
Yeah, you make it jelly.
Right. But I'm saying like, why are you holding these things and turning in a circle like a lunatic? Why are you turning in a circle like that? What are you doing? Is that some type of voodoo stuff?
Yeah, kind of.
It looks like very voodoo. If you don't know what's happening, it looks like magic a little bit. So understand that all that is connected actually to your potential of Sukkot. What's unique about Sukkot? I'm supporting you, support.
You did that also.
Yeah.
I wish I saw that.
I support the no face people. Anonymous.
Nobody can tell who you are.
That's because of my accent. So guys, on Sukkot, you realize that the true power of a Jew, guys, this is very important. What is the most powerful? I said it before. I'm testing it. What is the greatest power of the human being?
Free will.
Close.
Oh, you said
that
that
last time. You said that last time.
Imagination.
Imagination. That's a good student. A plus.
I was like, what am I gonna do?
A plus. You can even have guacamole on it. Okay. So imagination. Why is imagination so important? Because if you don't have imagination, you cannot even have Sukkot. You cannot imagine that is a king, that God is king of the world. You cannot imagine anything. You say, oh yeah, God is here with us. If you don't have imagination, or if you don't start thinking, how does God look like? What does God look like? Obviously, God doesn't have an image and doesn't have that, but you saw all the different, or he's like a loving father, or he's like a coach, or he's like a light. We use our imagination all the time to make our Judaism real. So if our imagination is just a type of thought fantasy and it's not real, then everything you think of is just fake. It's just fantasy. So when we say, oh, I have kavana, I daven, and I felt my words coming up, very nice, fantasy, nice. Our entire Judaism is based on your imagination.
Yeah.
Reality. You understand?
Yeah, that's amazing.
It is amazing.
I'm writing it down.
Good.
Yeah, and your reality is what.
Your reality is what it is. If I can look at you as a human being, as an animal, literally, or I can imagine really there's a soul in there. And that imagination that you have a soul in you is going to create a whole new reality that I can, and that's what Chazal say, the more you imagine that this is the reality, obviously you cannot imagine anything. You can say, oh, I imagine that God, like you say, looks like Santa on the cloud. That's not going to work, right? Meaning there's what's called holy imagination and unholy imagination. Holy imagination means you're imagining things that the Torah says are true, even if it doesn't look exactly the way it is. It still has a reality that you can use through imagination, because we know God speaks to us. Why it says, oh, God's arm, Beyat Chazaka, right? He came up and saved us from Mitzrayim with a strong hand. Even it said in Shir HaShirim, I think Shir HaShirim, Hashem Ish Milchama, that Hashem had the long black curly hair, a bit like me. Oh no, I don't have them anymore. But like a soldier, a brave heart with with long hair. What I was talking, because it says a rule in the Torah that Hashem speaks the language of man, and that he uses metaphors, he uses a language that we can understand. Our imagination is a language that we can use in order to relate to God. That's why they say you cannot achieve prophecy, a true connection with God, without the power of imagination. The Zohar and the Rambam. The imagination is the tool in your brain that can create a reality to which you can literally make the gap between this reality, this world, and the world above God. That's the device in your mind. So if now, what means to have bitachon? Bitachon means in my mind, I imagine that God is literally constantly next to me, taking care of absolutely everything that's happening. when I'm crossing the street and the car is coming and is the guy gonna see me or not? And my bank account, is the accountant is making sure, okay, good matter, okay, okay, you get just enough for, speak a bit less, I'll take a little bit less maybe, no, but do you understand that if we don't have that in our imagination, there's no bitachon, there's no such a thing. Hashgacha Chati. The Rambam says, you know how much God is going to be involved in your life based on how much you imagine Him being involved in your life. The more it's a reality for you, the more He's going to be. The less, and if you deal with Him haphazardly, you guys say that right? Haphazardly? Haphazardly. Excuse my French. Really like that, meaning in a way that it's all coincidence, then says the Rambam and all the commentators, God is going to disappear from your life, and the only thing you're going to experience is pure physical, natural reality. Amalek.
That's the worst.
That's the worst. When it's cause and effect. So and if there's a storm, you'll be swept by the storm. If there's a whatever.
So he's not, his life isn't determined by Hashgacha Prati anymore.
It's just nature now. Not Hashgacha Klal, it's just nature. So what's
So you guys hear that? If someone doesn't believe in Hashem, then his life goes according to nature.
Meaning, if you go according to nature, then you can go straight into astrology. But whatever is going to say that you're going to lose your boyfriend, right, next week, it's going to happen. I'm telling you. Yeah. But if you're with Hashem, all that stuff, you can bypass the laws of nature. You bypass astrology, you bypass all the stuff. So it's up to you if you want to live with nature, the natural. That's why they say if someone really has a true bitachon and is very close to Hashem, like a tzaddik, what happened? Even if it's the middle of the storm, nothing is going to happen to you. And we have a lot of stories of stuff like that. So because it depends what reality you are in, but that's your imagination, right? And obviously imagination is going to be real as far as you feel, right? As far as you feel about it. So that's Sukkot. Now, I want to. So in many ways, Sukkot is a time where you're going to practice, where you push to practice that imagination, right? So you go in the sukkah. What is the sukkah to you? Sukkah is, you have to imagine that you're back in Gan Eden. If the sukkah was your Gan Eden, how do you want your Gan Eden to look like? Right? If you were in heaven, how does heaven look to you?
It's fuzzy.
Right.
Because there's a lot of hookah.
No, it's just like just the celestial fuzz.
Pillows everywhere.
Like energy just.
So then put fuzzy walls in your sukkah. If you want,
kids sees along with like teddy bears.
Just not fuzzy like that. You know, like when your cable's out, it's just.
Yeah. That's what they all say.
Yeah.
We solved that.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But that's a preparation for your Olam Haba. Hashem is inviting you to create your own future world. What do you want in the world?
He's gonna get up there with boilers everywhere.
I would go to hell. They're not spent 50 years.
He has been in hell the whole time with those boilers. He's coming out. No, but seriously, if you had a house in Gan Eden, how would you want it to look like? What do you want to have in it? What type of people do you want to have in it? What do you think every day we have a Ushpizin? We're inviting Abraham, Yitzchak, and some people even have a chair, just reserved, an empty chair, reserved for that imagination. You cannot do that with imagination. So is he here or not? It depends on you. Do you believe that when you say something with the Hebrew letters, those vibrations affect coming from the spheres that we spoke last week, right? That every letter corresponds to the spheres, the energies in the world, and that vibration and frequencies, which nowadays, according to science, we say it's work, that those vibrations, everything in the world is vibrations and energy. It's scientifically proven, E equals MC squared. Everything is energy. And that you believe that when you say that word, you know, Amen or Yehi Shemei Rabba or Baruch Shem Kevon Mafuso, like we said on Yom Kippur, these actually shake the world and goes all over the world. How do you make it happen that we say Baruch Shem Kevon Mafuso on Yom Kippur, the whole world shakes and is filled with His glory? How do you make that happen?
Emunah.
What?
Wait, sorry.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
you said
Emunah.
that, you said
Well,
that.
it's part of that. It's your imagination.
That's what Emunah is. Right?
It does, yeah. Emunah is how true. How do you believe really when you go to pray every morning that the words actually is going to happen? When I say Baruch Ata Hashem Rofech Olei Amo Yisrael, that at that second, my family or friend or soldier that got injured gets healed at that time, at that moment. That depends on imagination. Do you imagine how we would pray if we have someone that we know is sick and we say Rofech Olei Amo Yisrael, and I know my words will heal that person. But not only that, the intensity of my emotional connection when I pray is what's gonna determine how fast that person is gonna be healed. Do you understand the craziness of it? Meaning that if I have my friend who is sick and I put my full force emotion into it because I'm convinced that when I say Rofech Olei Amo Yisrael, Hashem sends the complete refuah at that moment, you could technically literally heal the person in one shot, in 1 second. And you call the person after, say, are you feeling better? Yeah, I'm feeling better all of a sudden. There's plenty of stories of the famous story with the Chofetz Chaim, where someone was really very sick, and they had I forgot the exact sickness, but it was something really, and he was already in his old elder years, I don't know, was 85, I forgot, but really old. And someone asked him, could you pray for my friend or father? I forgot the details. And the Chofetz Chaim said, no, I'm sorry, I can't. So he didn't understand because he had done that, you know, a few years ago. And that person had been healed and everything was good. They said, but I don't understand. You're going to refuse to pray? He said, you don't understand. When I don't have the energy anymore, when I pray for someone who is sick, I fast, I pray as if it's my own child, and I don't stop until the person gets better. I don't have the strength to do that anymore.
I just got chills from that.
It's crazy, right? It's because for him it was real. If I do it, something gotta happen. So, do you understand now how important it is? We come after Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur where we have been cleaned. And in a way, the reason we have been cleaned and it's connected to Rosh Hashanah, the potential, is that imagine the potential you have when you're completely clean as a neshama. Imagine when now nobody spoke Lashon Hara, right? Hopefully, nobody spoke Lashon Hara since Yom Kippur. Our mouth is clean. Everything you say goes straight to heaven. Imagine you go to someone, a pure, a child who is pure, right? That is innocent, that was never hurt, and you go to him and say, I love you. He's gonna feel so happy, right? Imagine to that same child, you say, I hate you. The impact on those words on a little child is completely destructive. It's trauma for life. You can heal it, but you understand why children today are affected by what they have with the entertainment and the system, the broken families and the thing. We all born with trauma, literally, or very quickly, we are full of trauma experiences very quickly. And guess what? You know who gets the most trauma? Always the kids who are the most sensitive, spiritual. You can. I still work, but I've worked for the past 15 years with boys and girls of the derech who completely dropped everything, and 90% of them is because of abuse, sexual abuse, or they were the parents were too harsh on them and all that. And the reason, and those kids, the one, because sometimes some kids they were abused, but they somehow they're able to stay strong, and because the ones who are falling apart and rebelling against their religion, they're not rebelling, they're hurting, right? They're in pain, and therefore they can't handle that because most of the time they're abused by religious people. So how do they who the hell they cope? They cope by distancing themselves from that. But 99%, you ask the parents, and the remaining, who were those kids in class? Always the sweetest, always the nicest, always the most sensitive, always the most spiritual. This is who we are. Our young people were realizing, I'm completely clean, I'm a soul, and whatever I say or see or hear impacts me on the greatest level, right? Okay, let's go, since we're into that, let's go a bit spooky. Ilya, that's for you, spooky. Right, we are right, what's happening all around America now? What
Halloween.
Halloween.
Shade him right here.
Halloween. No, you need to realize that this is no coincidence, it's part of the puzzle. Why do you think all the Halloween things are coming out when we are going out on Sukkos?
Shirley's leaving.
It's always
Wait, Shirley, can you like see the video?
I didn't mean to scare you.
You just gave me the video.
Oh, I made a video.
Close your ears.
You're shy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's serious, you're actually scared.
I really get interested in it.
Did you ever see
Oh.
that?
Oh, you
No, you can talk about it outside.
what?
You can talk about it outside.
No, it's soft.
No, I'll go outside.
Soft.
No, don't worry, you're fine. You're protected.
I mean,
Yeah, we're learning.
what are you calling it?
That's what they're talking about baby demons, you know?
Okay. No, but the Halloween thing is, it represents, so to speak, it's where what's the season now? Fall. Fall.
Oh.
Right. What's happening to the nights? Are they going shorter or longer?
Shorter. Longer nights, shorter days.
Longer.
Shorter
The
days.
nights are going longer.
Right, shorter days. Sorry.
It's not
Too intense. It's like, okay. Not only that, it's a time everything gets warmer or colder. Colder. Meaning right now we're the time where we and after Sukkot, what's happening? Do we have any holidays?
No.
Nothing for Hanukkah until the darkest moment of the physical and the night.
It's like.
Yeah. So you got too scared of the demons. Okay. But right when you have a Halloween, it's connected to negative forces. And the reason one of the reasons it's happening at the same time is because we are saying we're going outside and we're not scared of those evil forces. Because I have the Anania Kavod. I'm protected by Hashem. Anania Kavod. Wow! No.
I'm not afraid of getting scared.
You're too holy to be affected by that.
Thank you, but I disagree. Thank you.
Well, actually, it's not.
See,
No, not that way. No, technically, the more holy you are.
Oh my God!
Don't worry, it's too cold. You're protected.
You're not holy.
You're terrible. It's okay.
Actually, Sparty is like.
Serious magic.
Whenever like I lose it, so my parents would like do like all this heebie stuff and like burn things around the house and like pour water out.
Not so much Syrian. Not so much Syrian, more like others apart.
Yeah. Bulgarians are going to eat Moroccan.
Not so much Syrian. Syrian, not so much.
Russians Ashkenazi Russians are very. So listen, you have to understand. I watched a video today. It was about an ex-witch, Christian ex-witch. Which? And what? Yeah, and actually want you to see what she said because it's.
You got WhatsApp there? What?
Wait, she's real?
It's my girlfriend, no. I already did ex-witch now. All my friends are here.
The best answer, though, right?
Okay.
You have to get your last
Please don't send that video to my wife. No. Just kidding. I mean, I always to my wife, she's my witch.
No, her grandfather was a big football, and you're gonna be really scared now.
Really?
But I think you should hear that though. Okay, it's an X switch.
Okay, enough.
Guys, I promise I'm not. I swear I did right.
No, I understand. We'll call you. I'll call you as soon as. Okay. So.
Somebody come, yes, swear to real.
Nobody's
No.
thinking of you.
Yeah. Don't make Bukhari jokes. I'm serious. Okay. I don't know if you can. Guys. Yes. Okay. Can't hear me.
Yeah, around the age of 13, I was starting to get depressed. I was being bullied at school, and even though I was in a Christian home, my parents did the best they could, but they were heavily on the side of just abuse. And so when you knew we were in trouble, you were beat. And so I believe the enemy used that to come against my self-worth, who I thought I was. And I was so depressed, I just thought if I would die, life would be better for everybody else. And so during that time, I was connected with some girls, and I remember going to a sleepover, and they watched a movie called The Craft. And this movie came out around 1996, and it was about 4 witches who were in high school. And these witches were bullied and picked on, and their lives were kind of messed up, and they used witchcraft to control situations around them and to get what they wanted. I watched the movie and I thought, I want that. Well, of course, in the movie, they went too far anyway. And the witchcraft had turned against them, and the girls were desperate to get out of it. But during that point, I didn't even see that ending. I just thought, oh, I won't go that far. I'm just going to be innocent. And I began to study the religion of Wiccan and study different spells and incantations and new age practices and occult practices that I was doing in the Christian home that nobody knew I was doing. And so what started off as something innocent where I'm just connecting with energy and the universe and vibes and all these innocent things that we see took me down a path of just dark desperation. I felt at one point that I was living in like a haunted house because I was hearing scratches on the wall right next to me. I would feel brushed by me and be terrified. So I always felt when I would walk through things for the day, it was one of the most terrifying things that I did. When I took a shower and I had to close my eyes, I was so terrified. If I had to get up in the middle of the night to get a glass of water, I would run because I thought something's gonna grab my feet. I was an adult at this point, and it took me far into drugs. I ended up being homeless and on drugs, in and out of jails and all kinds of things for 9 years of my life. I was really in a dark place.
Okay, there's another part that I want you to hear because it's very important about it.
Shouldn't agree with that. Go bluff, Rabbi.
No, of course you can.
Go bluff.
Huh?
Rabbi, do you think it's someone that's practiced witchcraft but actually going to interview and say that she practiced witchcraft?
Yeah,
Wait, this is all
Or not?
she's a famous. No, but I want you to hear something that she
You know how many people you can find online that practice all these tarot cards and all these things?
Yeah, I know people who practice that.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I want you to, guys, just 5 more minutes. Guys, she's talking about why witchcraft is popular.
Something like that for you and I, it would be shocking to see. And now, because we have shows as early as, daycare age, promoting witchcraft and sorcery, it's okay, boys and girls, say these spell words with us. It's so ABC preschool witchcraft that it gets into the hearts and the minds of people, including the people in church, and people who are not really connected with the Lord and don't understand. They are easily deceived. And the Bible talks about even the very elect will be deceived. And so people are going to a whole nother source. That's what they're wanting. They want a healing crystal because they don't understand that Jesus is the healer. And there's no other source that you can go to except through Jesus.
But what she says, just repeat this by God.
I've seen a rise of this. I've seen it become very trendy on TikTok and things like that. And
Right,
there's
these
a
people
whole
do it.
generation of people who I feel like are being the enemy. And it's just really time for the church, like when you're doing this interview, to sound the alarm and say, you know, we need to wake up and we need to say, this is not right, this is not for my home, this is not for my kids. And you know,
There's one more thing.
pushing the envelope.
What should you do?
They want to see
What?
everything push the envelope. What's trendy, what's
Why?
really shocking, what's gonna get the attention of people.
Because she's trying to help.
No, where is she now?
Oh, where's she now? I think she's she worked with the church or
Just recovering.
she's musician and artist.
She's older than.
She's a musician and an artist, and
Career.
13.
Hold on, wait. She,
And
you know, age because of the drugs also. You don't really know. It's really
right, right. But
You take drugs and it changes your physical.
right. That's true. Okay, I just
Recreated a movie, The Crowd, in 2020. They recreated the movie
Listen
and
to
they
that.
invited
They recreate the movie The
real
Craft
witches
and invited
on
real
the
wishes.
set. And they had the witches before they would do a scene
Yeah, of course.
to cast spells.
But of course, wishes are real. Black magic. Black magic is real. What? No, she's an ex-witch. She went out and she became. She went back. She did teshuvah with Jesus.
Real, I went to a shir in Israel once and.
Well, yeah, why didn't she like create a genie or something? Like,
No, works.
No, it doesn't work like that. No, you understand. You have to understand dark. You have to understand dark magic. Guys. What?
It's good Shirley didn't come back.
The dark magic and Kabbalistic, Kabbalat Masik, like practical Kabbalah, all this is real and it works. And the idea is, and the idea is that I have all the books home. If I would want, I could do black magic, but it's forbidden. The problem is that people who go into the occult, right? You end up being trapped in that thing. It's very dangerous. And that all those movies, those concepts of selling your soul to the devil or stuff like that, or asking favors from angels to know the future, all that, this exists. It's all in our Kabbalah books. We have all that in Judaism.
How do you differentiate between
Oh, well, you used to be the Queen of England? No. No, because some say the head of the Freemasons, right, which the Queen of England, he was the head of the Freemasons. The Freemasons. Freemasons. Right. It's a world, it's a type of world, so secret society that according to many, they control what's happening in the world. So the few most richest people in the world basically make the main decision of what should happen. According to some, they decide that the pandemic should happen and now everybody should go through electric so they can control literally every car. They can control and no more money, physical money, so that you can control all the credit cards. Basically, they can choose anything from you, know where you are, what you do. They want to have chips. Well, it's
real.
It's very real. According to Judaism, that type of scenario is supposed to happen at the end of time when the forces of darkness, of evil, so to speak, are doing everything because the truth is coming to the end, meaning where it's the end of time, Moshe is coming. So all the forces of negativity are trying to take over everything, the holiness. And it says also in, I believe, Zohar, it says also that all leaders like Nebuchadnezzar, Nimrod, all the evil Haman leaders that had tried to control us in the past, they are all coming now so that they will all be defeated at the same time when Moshe comes. So it's Biden could be Lavan and Putin might be Nebuchadnezzar, or the one who wanted to be more in Israel. The Iran thing would be in there. What?
Who's Trump?
Trump is very Esau. Yeah, there's a
I
good
heard
part
that.
of him. His head is good, but
I heard of that. I heard that Trump is a Gula like Esau.
right. So there's many,
That's why he's
many.
a red guy.
Right, the red head. There's a lot of similarities.
And he likes eating.
Vatican, they have its own set of priests called the Jesuits
Right.
that actually hunt down people that are doing like black
Right.
magic.
Yes. Yeah, we used to. I mean, like no.
Let me ask
Some
you,
voters are.
how do you
No,
do?
it lost is because we lost power of some of the holiness.
But they
we
see there's
lost the
more
prophecy.
Torah in the world than ever before.
Yes, so everything goes increasing at the same time. We had lost prophecy, we had lost spirituality. Now it's all coming back, and the force of darkness coming back. Everything is
So
balanced.
how do you differentiate between like good astrology and like bad astrology?
You have to ask your rabbi, local or close rabbi.
What if you have a loved one that's into astrology?
You have to be careful. No, but you have to be very careful. Speaking of darkness.
Rabbi, so who's Obama?
Oh, Obama, that's a good question.
People say Obama is like
Maybe Pharaoh, because he was darker.
somebody took a picture of like Pharaoh from like 3,000 years ago and took a picture of Obama.
No way.
And it looks the same.
Really? Okay, so that's very possible. All this, a lot of much more theory and conspiracies that we think is not true actually true.
Nancy Pelosi.
Oh no, that's the snake. That's Lily. Anyway,
She looks snake-like.
okay, but understand that those things are real exist, and Rabbi Avraham Satan, not Satan, Satan is a big rabbi in Israel who he has a few books. One is great, it's called Spiritual Technology. You should read it, and he speaks about how the forces of darkness are active, very active, and much more than we think, and they're trying to shut down the world, anything holy of that. But I want you to hear a last part that she speaks about the media, because it's I think we don't realize how what's happening. Only people who have been inside know a bit what's happening. So listen to that. The scene of the movie.
Isn't this amazing? We're getting real involved with these real witches, and people are playing it in their home, and it's entertainment. And Charlene always say the first part of entertainment is enter. So be careful what's entering your home. But it is definitely a shock factor. Our generation is really rapid.
Can you send this into the chat?
Yeah, sure. Okay, but don't say it's from me. Because they're gonna say, "Who is this rabbi?" No, but yeah, I'll send it.
Or you can send it to me on there.
No, I said yeah because on the chat some people don't understand. But I can send it to. I'll send it to. Well,
I'll send it to you. There's this person, Bill Locks in the city. Okay, this guy, Bill Locks, before he became religious, he actually went around all over the world and started studying all the other religions. And he got into meditation and
What's your name?
send it to me, I'll send it.
Jonathan?
Unger. UNGER.
Yankee. Okay, so maybe.
Have you ever heard of Bill Locks?
Yeah.
In the old city.
Yeah.
He went to Bill Locks' house, right? This guy went to India and started learning how to turn like small things into different objects. I went to his house, I met him many times.
Small thing into little objects. What
He went to these gurus in India.
Matter manipulation.
No, they basically do magic, black magic in India.
Meaning a actual real thing.
Yeah.
It was
Went to Christian healers. They went to Christian healers that were able to heal people of all their diseases and like they had the muscle, everything.
Right. So those things can be done in a kosher way if it's done not through the force of darkness, but that you have to be doing with holiness.
There's this Indian guy on YouTube, Sadhguru or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Very
Oh
interesting.
yes, yeah.
Is that like bad to listen to? It's very interesting.
No, I think he has a lot of truth. Listen, it's like that. The way I learned it from my rabbi is that you have to filter everything. As much you can have a rabbi who is a Jewish demon. You can have a rabbi.
Right.
That's the Baal Shem Tov who
You're
says
saying
that.
it's not pure avodah zarah.
No, meaning there are rabbis who are not divine souls. They're demons, and they are simple, normal people who are
Yeah,
really.
this is not my conversation. I'm gonna go home.
No, we're basically done.
I'm getting so interested.
Don't worry, I'm a nice rabbi.
I'm saying
No,
like.
no, but you understand that you have to filter everything you read, everything you
The
watch.
guy saying
everything you see.
self-help stuff.
No,
but
he's
it
great.
comes from yogic ideas.
That's fine. Most of the yogic thing comes from Judaism. You see, the advantage is what the advantage I had because I studied for 25 years Kabbalah. Okay, so during the 25 years I studied Kabbalah, I was able to see the authentic Kabbalah, not the Madonna Kabbalah, but I was able to see that all of the spooky things that you hear, you see in movie or you see this shaman doing all that, it's all there. And I can bring you to the source of why it's working. But some people take that and use it in a negative way, and some people take that and heal people, like a real Kabbalist, the holy Kaduri or people like that. Yeah, Rizal. So we have to understand that. So why I'm saying that? Because you see, it's part of understanding what you're here for. We go in the sukkah and we shake those branches. What do those branches represent? What is what?
Body.
Oh, you imagine using your imagination again. Okay, so the eyes, heart, spine, lips. But I heard also that it represents 4 types of Jews. The one that smells good, like the other side, the one that smells and tastes good, like the restaurant, the one that just is playing, and then the one, like the Arabos. So it represents the 4 types of Jews. But I've heard it represents the 4 letters of Hashem's name. Yud, K, Vav, K. Oh, I heard it represents a man and a woman making love. So which one is it?
All of it.
That's right, because it's the festival of imagination. What do you want?
It's the festival of imagination.
Yeah.
Why?
That's what we've been doing since the beginning. You have been paying attention. Because we have been on Rosh Hashanah, you have tapped into your potential as son of the king. On Yom Kippur, you tap into the fact that you are super holy, higher than angels. And on Sukkot, you're applying that. You're applying the potential that you have in this world that, yes, even though you're a human being, you have a soul that is so powerful that you can say something or think, imagine something, and it happens. Green Lantern, guys. You know Green Lantern? G, again, he has a G. Green Lantern, do you know what's...
Yeah, from Batman.
Yeah.
I was kidding.
DC, from DC, yeah. No, Batman, not from DC. No, it's from DC or from Marvel?
No, DC.
DC. Yeah, it's a Marvel. Okay. So Green Lantern, right? He creates this thing. That's what the Lunar Star do. So we go, and what we do, we shake it. Why do you shake it? Why do you shake it? So what?
Why not?
Oh, why?
Yeah, if you don't shake it, it's not gonna work. It's saying that you're creating a movement. It's like you imagine. Do you know Dragon Ball Z?
Yes.
Right. So, right. You practice, right, like that, or people who do Tai Chi, right? Jackie Chan, right? Or people who what?
People that do burgers.
I'm not sure about that. Meaning that you're saying and how many directions do we do that?
6.
6 direction. Why 6 direction? Because you're saying that on all directions, heaven and hell and earth, you affect every direction. You are able to create literally a dimension, a new dimension in which you live, a Gan Eden. You create your own Gan Eden. So try to imagine this year, how do you want your sukkah to look like? If you were really an angel or Adam in Gan Eden, if you were Adam in Gan Eden, and you had to make a little house for yourself, how would you want it to look like? What would you do in it? What would you do in Gan Eden? You have been purified right now. You're like Adam Arishon, clean. What would you do? Let me ask you a question. What would you do if you didn't have to work? Okay.
First hand experience.
What?
Travel.
No. What are you waiting for?
I did, I just got back.
Oh, fantastic. So now you want to work?
Oh, no.
You want to go back to travel?
Traveling gets boring after a while.
No.
I think you're right.
Not if you go,
Depends where you go.
not if you go to a different location every time. You go to a new location
It
every
depends.
time.
It depends on where. Depends on the coast.
I have traveled, I went on a million Israel trips. I went all over Europe. I went to Vienna, Budapest, Bratislava, Amsterdam.
Because you went all over Eastern
Yeah.
Europe.
Yeah,
You go-
please.
France?
Go to
I
like,
went to France, yeah.
France is overrated.
It depends where you go.
Go to-
You have to go to the right place.
After a while, it's not fulfilling.
go to like
No,
Southeast
yeah,
Asia.
you're right. You know why? Because listen to that. What it is that you are going to experience or feel when you're other places? What is it that you're looking? What? No. What are you going to feel when you're there? Meaning not home, but what's the experience you're getting there in all those places? What?
No, you're missing something
New
else.
experiences.
Okay, but that what's new about it?
Fulfillment. You see it.
Why is it?
Because you want, you have the intention to visit all these places and you wanna reach that goal.
Okay, but that's a sense of fulfillment. You don't need to travel to have a sense of fulfillment.
It depends.
Meaning-
Some people need to travel and some people don't. Some people get like anxious from traveling.
Okay, but that's all based on your brain. You understand that technically you can have someone.
Fluidify spirit.
Technically, I'm asking what it is that the person is feeling when they travel. What do they gain from it?
When they travel,
What?
or when they arrive.
I think it depends too, like I personally, I
it's a
just love
distraction.
the scenery. I think like, oh my gosh, like this mountain, Hashem is the coolest thing ever, who
Right.
made this?
Yes. Okay, do you
So you
understand?
do that from the.
Right.
You do that.
Exactly.
You do it right here.
That everything
Yeah.
you experience technically, you can have it right here, right?
Look at this tree. You know how this tree grew? This came from a little seed, and that little seed kept on getting water and water and water and water and water and water until it came into a tree like this. So this technically is all water. If you think about it.
She didn't like the story. But right, it's you're right, and we use it as tools. The reason we travel or we try to have different experience because we need something external to wake up the internal emotional experience. But technically, and that's what Buddhists do a lot, work a lot on it, is they try to experience everything from here without the need to go anywhere. Over on top of the mountain, so it's cheating. But you understand that technically, as a human being, you can be traveling while still at the same place. That's why people take drugs, by the way. You know, it's you get all those experience without the need to go anywhere and without the need to.
That's why it's called we go on a trip.
Right, we go on a trip. So when we come on Yom Kippur on Sukkot and we shake the branches and you go counterclock, why do you counterclock? Because you're trying to fight nature. What we said before that things go according to nature. Now the Jew goes counter nature, counterclock. We're trying to reverse the cycle of negativity and evil that exists in the world to transcend, not derech hateva, but derech Hashem, right? And while we shake our branches, we're shaking around because we're saying we're fighting the world. Those are my weapons. What are my weapons? My weapons are Yud Kei Vav Kei. My weapons are my eyes, my lips, my spine, and my
Imagination.
well, yes, imagination.
That's our biggest
That's right. Thank you. The showers, my weapons are my
Bye guys.
the relationship.
Bye.
Bye. relationship is my relationship between a man and a woman, right? And my power. So we have all those examples of what we are capable of doing. And what do we do on Simchat Torah and Shmini Atzeres? We don't use those things anymore, right? We put them down. We say, I don't need that. Those was just tools for imagination, but I am the one now, right, with my body that can do that. Everything is in me. It was all a hint of myself, what I'm capable of. And we have the Torah, we dance with the Torah instead of the Lulav and Esrog. We go with the Torah around Akafos, right, instead of the Lulav and Esrog. Why? Because saying this is what it represents. It represents all this, our strength, our power comes from the Torah. The imagination of what to fight for and what we're capable of doing comes from the Torah. So that's basically the power or the greatness of Sukkot, of using Sukkot properly. And I'm telling you, this year, we don't know what's happening. If there's a World War III, it usually starts on Sukkot. Usually, not that there was World War III already, but if there's going to be a war that's going to start up during the world, usually they start having something during Sukkot festival because it's the festival of fighting. By the way, this is very good to know. All the Shmoneh Esrei correspond to the 13 middle brachos, right? These 3 brachos, preparatory brachos, Shevach, then Bakashot, 13 requests, and then 3 Hodat. So means 3 thanks. So the 13 middle brachot of the Shmoneh Esrei correspond to all the festivals through the year. So what do you have? Chonen Adas is the first one, right? Of the 13 Bakashot, right? Atachonen Adas, Das is the Etzadas, is Rosh Hashanah. It's a reminder of that. Atachonen leAdam, well, it says Adam, it doesn't say Adam anywhere in the other version. So Atachonen Das, that's Rosh Hashanah. Then you have Hashivenu Avinu L'Sorosera Ve'Kalvenu Malkeinu. Avinu Malkeinu. Those are 10 Yemei Tshuva. The 10 days where we do Tshuva. Then come what? Yom Kippur. Slav lanu avinu ki chatanu mechal lanu malkeinu ki fashanu. That's Yom Kippur. What's the next one? Rena ve'amyenu. Ananei hakavod. You shake ananu, shaking the lulav. See our Hoshanot. So Rena avinu be'riva rivenu, and fight our fights. Baruch ki el goel chazak ata. Baruch Hashem goel Israel. It's all about Geula. It's all showing that if we fight with Hashem, we are gonna bring Geula. So that's connected to Yaakov, right? So, and then you continue. What's after Refainu? Why? Because Refainu, that's Simchat Torah. This says there's the sickness, which is the bad midos and the evil world, but there's an antidote. What's the antidote? The Torah. The Torah is establishing. The Torah heals us. Is the antidote? Is the thing to kill the Sam Mavet that is in us. And then what's the next bracha? Baruch Aleinu, because that's what we're suffering for in Shmini Atzeret. They're right next to each other. And then it continues. What's the next one? Tekabeh Shofar Gadol, that corresponds to Chanukah. Because it speaks about here to gathering the sparks. And you see, and then the next one is Purim. You see how it all goes in order. So it's a reminding the Shmoneh Esrei of that. So we know that this time of Sukkot is a time of fighting, of using our imagination, understanding what we're capable of. Use your sukkah. Try to imagine, make your sukkah personal. If you were in Gan Eden, you have 1 week in Gan Eden. Who would you hang out with? How would you want it to look like? What would you do for 1 week in Gan Eden? 1 week in heaven. What would you do for 1 week in heaven? Oh.
I don't know.
It's interesting, right? Because we got to figure that out. What are we going to do? Again, when Moshiach comes, and you don't need to work because the non-Jews, they're going to support us, some are still going to work, but overall, the non-Jews are going to support us so that we can teach them Torah and learn with them and then take care of the spiritual thing that needs to be happening. But what are you going to do when Moshiach comes? If you don't practice it during Sukkot, you're gonna be bored when Moshiach comes. You gotta prepare. You know, we don't make it a reality, but let me tell you, my friends, Moshiach is already here. It's just not revealed, but he's here. It's not like we're waiting for Moshiach. What?
How do we know he's born? How do we know that?
No, he's always alive in every generation,
All right.
ready
So it's
to
if
be
we
revealed.
deserve him or not, right?
Right. It all depends on us. But if we're not on a level where we're ready to live in Olam Haba, how are you showing that you're ready? The sukkah is the opportunity to show, yeah,
It's like the hockey game that's telling me you know how to skate.
that's right. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly that. So
Wait, so does Mashiach know Mashiach?
no, not right away.
Doesn't even know.
Watch it be
He's gonna know
watch
at
it
some
be
point.
Joe, and we're all like, just like.
You know at some point.
Walking around and like.
Yeah.
Coming to the big
Could it be a woman?
What? No, but it says that Moshe is going to reveal that most of his power and energy is thanks to his wife, and that's going to be a big thing. So it's there'll be no
Is it like a
Moshe
regular-
and his wife.
Is it like a regular guy or it's like a big rabbi?
No, some say it's gonna. A lot of people say it's actually about Shuvah will be a complete Teshuvah, and he's from the people from in Israel that lives in Israel. And he's from.
Oh, you have to live in Israel?
Yeah. Well, not necessarily, but he's gonna be in Israel when that's how when he reveals himself, and then he says that he's gonna be a political or he's gonna be a leader, activist. And he's gonna push the people, and a lot of people are not gonna look at him as Moshe.
Joe's on track, man.
I know it's not rebellious. It's not rebellious. No.
And Yosef.
What? Playing what?
Instruments like harp.
Ah.
Instruments.
I would.
David Zedman.
I would assume because for king. No.
So imagine a movie, Mashiach's wife.
What? No, I think it will make sense because if it's Moshiach and King David, this is King David. King David was very into music. I would assume, yeah.
Make it real.
What?
Put a million.
He has to be religious, but understand that nowadays we say religious. People have very strong definition. For Hasidim, if you don't have players, you're not really religious.
Right.
I mean, depends which.
He's
He has to know the Torah and keep the 613 commandments. He can't be just like, just be cool. You don't have to do that stuff. No.
That's actually a big for every generation. What's considered generation?
Well, it has to be always. If he dies, his soul has to be reborn right away. So it's always.
So basically.
Yeah, but he can go into the body of someone who is adult already. He can transfer directly, like Igor Neshama is called. So.
Oh, you mean to say like it will always be an adult that's capable of being
Yes.
Mashiach?
Yes.
It's not like reborn as a baby because then Mashiach can't come while there's a
So it
baby.
jumps on.
Yeah.
Wait, so one of these
I
guys
can't
is
say with certainty, but we have a concept in Judaism that souls can transfer into live body, or let's put it that way: the higher soul of like the neshama yesera, like you have on Shabbos, right? That's not an extra neshama. It's your own neshama, the higher part of your own neshama that comes down into you, and you become more sensitive, more conscious, more spiritual. It's not just an extra soul. It's your own. You have access to a higher, deeper part of yourself. So that's what they say. If you learn or you pray on Shabbat, it's 10 times at least what the impact that you have during the week, because you have more neshama in you, so you have more power. It's like Sukkot after Yom Kippur, you're all clean. You have more power now to affect the world. You bigger impact. So try on Sukkot to imagine what would you do for 1 week if Moshe was here. Me, I try to spend time first of all with my family to take care of my family, meaning relationship, being present. Oh, same thing. No. Well, it's you, meaning you mean as a final phase. No, meaning you understand that when Moshiach comes, people have a misconception. When Moshiach comes, we're all gonna have to finish the work that we haven't complete. So if you still need to go to therapy, you're gonna have to need to go to therapy. If you need to heal from, no, it's true. If you need to heal for something, you're gonna have to heal, because if you hurt someone, or if you're not humble yet enough, or if you think you're better than your wife, or your wife thinks is better than you, all this you're gonna have to work at it, because you can't enter into a olam haba, a complete world, until all this is fixed. So we're gonna have 1,000 years to fix all that, right? Because this is gonna give you the picture, or you're the architect. You're building your future. Whatever you're able to heal now and do on your own to fix, that's what you're gonna get at the end, olam haba. That's why we all have a different olam haba. So they say every tzaddik has his own planet or island, olam haba, whatever that means. It means that each one of us are gonna design, right? If I want a world of love in olam haba, then I better create love around me. I've gotta make sure that everybody loves me. I send that French love to everyone. Give croissant, all that, and then when I go to olam haba, I have all those people that I've showed love. They're gonna be here and bouncing that love back, right? So you have to decide which world you want to create, right? If you wanna be in the world where you are recognized as a soldier, then you gotta be a soldier here now and fight for truth. You can be a teacher, but you have to find yourself where you shine the most, what makes you the most shine. I tell you, for me, the most important thing is my relationship with my wife. If I can get that right, I think that's that's because that means I will know how to have a deep, loving relationship with God if I can do that. Right? Understand? So
you ever been there?
what? Yeah. Yeah, it's just right now we have complete free choice in doing it. We are completely on our own, so to speak. So you get the most reward. When Moshiach comes, he's going to tell you, oh, you just need to do that and that. You will know what to do, but it will not be with as much, that's why they say the converts cannot convert. We're not convert, they're going to come on their own, but we cannot convert them because everything is revealed. So the free choice was much lower, therefore your reward was much lower. And the whole point of being here in this world is to gain your own, to gain your own worth. So that it's not nama de kisufa, the bread of shame, where God is giving you and you're not earning it on your own. That's what we want. So, was it clear enough? Okay, so we go out, fight Halloween, and don't worry, we're fine. By the way, if you're scared, just take a lulav and it's rug and you'll be protected. No problem. So it's like that, they all will disappear.
Everyone will disappear, not just the news.
Oh, yes. That's how powerful she is. But yes, all right. To be continued. Till next time, I'll see you all in Gan Eden or Rambam, or we'll see. Bye. Chag Sameach.